Kingdom Hearts 4 got a brand new trailer and we need to go over it, so let's talk about it. Hello there everybody and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler and today we are going to be talking about the big Kingdom Hearts news that we got today, that being the brand new trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. This trailer came in today's, as of recording, yesterday as of this video going live, Nintendo Direct for the month of June 2026. At the end of the Direct, near the end, the second to last announcements of the show, we got number one, the announcement of a new Kingdom Hearts collection that's going to have all the games from Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3, including the Remind DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3 as well, in one package. This will be released on all platforms, and most notably, it is coming to the Switch 2, and this means that it will be native Kingdom Hearts games on the Switch 2. They are not cloud versions. The cloud versions are being delisted soon. You can kiss those goodbye. If you had the cloud versions, you can transfer your save over to the native versions when they are released, and this is releasing later this year on October 8th. This is something that has been long awaited, long desired, so I'm very happy that it has finally happening. I am a slut for Kingdom Hearts, so I will most definitely be picking these up, even though I already have bought these games multiple times over the course of this series, this franchise's entire lifetime. So I'm very happy about that. But again, the big news, the more important thing that came after this is Kingdom Hearts 4, which is confirmed to be releasing on the Switch 2 whenever it comes out, and it will be releasing on all platforms at the same time whenever it comes out. We did not get a release year in this trailer. That's important. There was no release year, so we don't have any hard date to lock in on just yet. Me, if I was to be a betting man and guessing, I would assume that we will be getting Kingdom Hearts 4 within the next 2 years, because from what we saw here, the game is looking pretty good so far. It's looking at, like I said, a pretty polished state, and I doubt that Square Enix would be showing us any of this gameplay right now if they were not in a state where it was close enough to being done, where they could start doing up some stories, some marketing, starting to build up marketing, even if only a little bit, for a game that is on the horizon in the near future. Could it be a late 2027 game? Possibly, but I'm going to say 2027, 2028 is most likely when this game will be in our hands. Now, the trailer was only 90 seconds or so. It was a pretty short trailer, went by pretty quickly. About half of it was focused on story-related stuff, and the other half was focused on combat and the gameplay. And the story-related stuff didn't really tell us too much about what's going to happen in the story, but it did tease some characters and tease some ideas that we could, chew on to intuit about what might be going on in the story, what the story might be about, what the themes of the story might be. So there's stuff to chew on there, and the combat stuff was also very quick, but it also gave us stuff to chew on there and really dive into and dig into and just pour over in terms of new mechanics such as the build mechanic, which we see here, and the return of reaction commands. So there's a lot to talk about. Without further ado, let's go over the story side of things with this trailer. So the story side of things covers a lot of bases, and I want to start with literally how the trailer itself starts, that being this woman in a black coat overlooking Quadratum. We don't know who this woman is. I see many people speculate maybe this is Master Ava, one of the Lost Foretellers, and I assumed this myself when I first saw the trailer, because we haven't seen Master Ava at all since she up and vanished during the back cover, the Key era. She was not at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 when all the Foretellers came into the present and reunited with Luxu. She was not there. They were asking, where is she? What was she doing? What was her role in all this? We don't know where she is. All Luxu said was, she's doing her part. She played her role. Is this her role? Is this Master Ava we're seeing here? It is very possible. It's also possible that this could be a brand new character that we have yet to be introduced to. I would be more than happy to be the new character. I don't want every character that's going to be in this game to be someone that we already know. It'd be cool if it was someone new. But also, I think another reason that I feel like it might not be Master Ava is because I believe that if we were going to be seeing her, we would probably be seeing her in her foreteller garb and not in an organization cloak. I mean, when all the foretellers appeared at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, they appeared in their foreteller garb. They were not in their in an organization cloak. That's how we've seen them all this time. So I believe if we were going to see Master Ava now, we would probably see her in her foreteller outfit. That's just my thought, but again, it could be that she is in this organization cloak and she's no longer using her foreteller outfit. She has a completely different look, and the organization cloak is just continuing to be the stand-in for, hey, we're trying to hide the appearance of this character until we're ready for you to actually know what they look like. So that's my thoughts about her. But some of what this character is saying here is actually pretty interesting. So paraphrasing a bit here, but she talks about how Quadratum, or maybe Unreality as a whole, but we're going to focus this in on Quadratum specifically since that's where we are. She says how Quadratum is a place where there were no manifestations of light and darkness in the way that we and the characters are used to it. The arrival of the Keyblade wielders and or wielders of light and darkness in the world of Quadratum is what brought those manifestations of light and darkness to that world. And the darkness specifically was given physical form after the characters defined it for that world. So that led me to a lot of different thoughts, like number one, how massive is our impact in this realm of unreality, in the world of Quadratum? If there were no manifestations of light and darkness there before we arrived, how deep do the ramifications of us even being here go in this place that we should not be? How deep does it go? Have we set this world and this realm down a path that we need to save it from? So basically, do we have to basically right our wrongs here? We're in a place we don't belong and we've screwed it over. We need to save it from ourselves. Is that something that's happening here? Also, how long has this been going on for? I mean, again, this character here who's saying this stuff to us seems to have some deep knowledge about everything that's happening here. It leads me to believe that this has been a thing that's been happening for some time, ever since the first wielders of light and darkness appeared in this world, whenever that was. How long has that been? It's a very good question. I really wonder what the answer to that is going to be. There's also the question of, was the manifestation of light and darkness here, and again specifically the darkness being given physical form after we defined it, was that something that was due to the presence of the 7 true darknesses that were they the ones that led things astray? Of course, we know, if you have kept up with the Union Cross story and the Dark Road story, the 7 true darknesses were all essentially put into the foretellers. So they all basically became vessels for the true darknesses. And I believe the Master of Masters became a vessel for it as well. Ventus also became a vessel for one of the true darknesses too. So I wonder, maybe were they a factor in this? If there was a true darkness here in Quadratum, did that true darkness, were they the ones behind things? Or if there were multiple true darknesses here, were they the ones that led things astray in the world of Quadratum and brought physical form to the darkness that's been there? Or was this darkness and light always here in this world, and it was just something that was brought out, just brought to the surface? It wasn't a thing that was just never present at all and then it was brought into the world, but rather it's always been here, just bubbling underneath the surface, and the true darknesses were able to bring it up to the surface and bring it to light and have it run amok. Is that something that's happening here? I don't know. There's so many different ways we can read this line, and I'm very fascinated in finding out what exactly is going on in here in Quadratum. So many questions, so many answers we need to get discovered, and we're not going to get them anytime soon, but it's fun to speculate about this stuff. It's so fun to speculate about it. From there, after we get these line reads in the trailer then goes into a really quick snippet montage mode of sorts, where it just shows off a bunch of different characters, real quick shots of them, reconfirming certain things and confirming other things. So, you know, we get the confirmation that Donald and Goofy, they are in the underworld trying to seek help from Hades, you know, because we see them there, and then we see the shot of all Hades' flames appear around them. We see Strelitza appear yet again. She's seen potentially facing down someone from Organization 13 in the middle of a street. We see her standing there. Only reason I say that potentially someone from Organization 13, or in an organization cloak rather, that she's facing down, is because the bit of the clothing we can see of that person, looks like it's a black jacket, a black cloak of some sort. Maybe it's someone else that's not an org cloak, but it just looks like an org cloak. We gotta wait and see. But then we also get a very quick shot at our first look at Luxord's his whole person, his real person, the not nobody, his recompleted form here in this trailer. And he looks just like Luxord. I mean, we know we have the different visuals going on here from one, better, you know, new engine and all, but two, all the characters looking different because of, you know, the appearance that Quadratum gives everyone. But he looks great. You look at him, you're just like, yeah, that is Luxord for sure, or whatever his, you know, his recompleted form is, whatever his recompleted name is. He looks great. Very cool to see that he's here. Again, means that probably, almost certainly, Yozora is going to show up here in some way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of the when. Perhaps whenever we get introduced to Luxord's character here, maybe he leads us to Yozora, because he's like, hey, Yozora told me about you, or I know you through a guy who knows a guy. Let me take you to him. He wants to see you. He wants to meet you. Whatever the case may be. Maybe he is our connection or our ticket to finding Yozora in Quadratum, or maybe someone else is. Who knows? Maybe he's our ticket to finding the woman that Yozora was trying to save. There are so many questions, so many answers. Eager to find them out, but it's very cool to see that he is here for sure. And then we get to some other mysterious characters that appear in this trailer. Number one, there's this guy who we see walking inside of a building, and this building, I assume, is basically taking place at the same time as the giant quote-unquote dark side attack. Because in the trailer, as we see him like walking down this hallway, in the background you can see through windows, you can see darkness on this building, on the windows of this building on the other side of the street. And it aligns with what we saw. The dark side at the beginning of the trailer had darkness on all these different buildings and everything. So I feel like this is happening at that point in time. But I have seen some people online speculate that this character is Sigurd from the very end of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, when Brain gets sent to a different timeline and all, and I believe he ends up in Scala ad Caelum. He ends up there, you know, at a different point in time, and this character Sigurd appears and introduces himself to him. We don't see Sigurd's face, but we see his outfit, and the character that we see here, his outfit kind of sort of resembles that of Sigurd's. He doesn't have the hat, of course, but what we can see of his jacket does somewhat resemble the jacket that we see Sigurd wearing at the end of Union Cross. So if this is him, it is very cool that we're seeing, you know, again, our first glimpse of him, and curious as to what his involvement is here for sure. There's also another character that appears shortly after him. We see just him in the middle of the street in Quadratum. He has a Keyblade. He's all masked up and stuff. He also looks, again, like Discount Noctis. No shade to the character or anything or whatnot, but like, you know, hey, it's not Noctis again. We have Noctis at home. He appears here. I like his design, but also, again, I've seen people point out that this character looks like someone else from the mobile games, and once again, I do see the resemblance. It is very possible that these are the exact same characters being brought over from the mobile games. What are they doing here? How they arrived here? Why they are here? So many questions. Did they come here by traveling across world lines just like the Master of Masters did? Did they die at some point like Strelitza did? Did they break the natural order of things like Sora did? Like, there are many questions as to why these characters are here, what their motivations are, what they're trying to do, and how they play into the story. So many questions. I'm very eager to find out the answers to all of them. But then we see another cloaked person in this trailer, And this person, you know, they're just walking down the street and there are black feathers falling in front of them. It's a very ominous scene for sure. I'm not gonna lie. Although I am kind of tired of the organization cloaks and I wish that we would retire them, I cannot lie and deny that they just have so much goddamn aura and stuff. They bring a vibe. They're cool to look at. I can't deny that. And this scene right here, this shot is just a very cool, you know, easy example of just like, yeah, they just provide aura and do cool, dope emo vibes, and I'm here for it. Either way though, I have seen some people wonder online if this scene could be taking place on Endor from Star Wars. I mean, you know, we already all but have confirmation that Endor is going to be in the game based on the very first trailer we got back in 2022, where we saw snippets of this forest planet, and in the background, or forest world I should say, and the background of one of the shots you can see what appeared to be the foot of an AT-AT. Of course that screams Endor Star Wars. So I've seen people wonder if this is also on Endor. I don't think so though, and like people are wondering if it is because there are trees in the background, and also like the structure that they're walking under or by. When you look at the like near the top of the screen, it looks like it's a bit angular, like the way the structure is designed. I'm not going to deny that it's a possibility for that to be the bunker that we see near the end of Return of the Jedi that Han and Leia and, you know, a bunch of the rebels are trying to get into. I won't deny that it's a possibility, but I don't believe this is Endor at all. I think that everything we're seeing in this trailer is straight up from Quadratum. And as it pertains to this scene in particular, the reason why I think this is Quadratum and not Endor is because if it was Endor, then there would be far more, you know, trees and foliage in the background than we are seeing here. Here in this scene, there's not too many trees and all. It seems like we could still see like another building or a sky in the background. Looks like there might even be a bench in the background. I feel like this character, they're just like walking under an underpass of some sort, maybe walking through a park of some kind, but I don't believe that this is on Endor. I think this is in Quadratum right here. If it is Endor, cool. Then that's just another token, another, you know, feather in the cap of Star Wars is in Kingdom Hearts 4, which we all but know, it's all but confirmed, but still another mysterious organization cloak wearer here. Is this the Master of Masters? Is this Lushu? Is this someone else? The world may never know. Only time will tell. And the final story clip that we get here in this trailer is of young Xehanort. Actually, young Xehanort standing over Sora. Sora is on his knees in the rain, looking kind of sad, and he turns his head back behind him because young Xehanort is standing over him with his umbrella over him. And, you know, Nomura has been teasing young Xehanort for some time now in relation to, well, he's been teasing young Xehanort, and people have assumed that it was because young Xehanort would be in Kingdom Hearts 4. And it was not too long ago, actually, when Nomura put out a piece of art. I believe it was for the anniversary of Kingdom Hearts this year. He put out a picture that was just of young Xehanort, and people were wondering, ayo, are you saying, like, is this meant to be a hint for Kingdom Hearts 4? Turns out it probably was. What is he doing here? Why is he here? How did he end up here? There are many questions behind this. And, one big question is he going to be an ally to Sora in Kingdom Hearts 4? I think it's very possible, because the rules of time travel in Kingdom Hearts, as young Xehanort himself explained in Dream Drop Distance, is that when he goes forward in time, you could do what you do when you go forward in time, but when you go back to the time you came from, you lose all the memories you had of the time travel you did. So you don't remember what all the events that you saw and took part in. So young Xehanort here, he's not gonna remember everything that he did taking place in the Keyblade War, everything in Dream Drop Distance. He's not gonna remember that at all. What will he know? That's up for debate, it's up for discussion. Will he remember anything of, maybe an older version of himself coming back to the past and telling him, hey, XYZ, so on and so forth. There's this in the world, there's that in the world. Was he ever told about Sora specifically before he traveled forward in time? Who knows? There are so many questions here. And I mean, even in in Kingdom Hearts 3, young Xehanort, he definitely was kind of teasing that he was aware of things that Sora was not, and that, you know, Sora traveling using the power of waking the way he was at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to backfire and have serious repercussions, implying that he was aware of things and like of where he was going to go and what was going to happen, and possibly aware of Quadratum. And we also know young Xehanort, he had a conversation with the Master of Masters when he was younger, so he probably knows plenty about Quadratum, but at this time he might not know about Sora and, you know, the future conflict that future young Xehanort would have with him. So if they end up encountering each other, well, when they encounter each other here in Quadratum, perhaps young Xehanort will try and assist Sora in some way and try and help Sora find a way out, or maybe find his footing in Quadratum, help him navigate Quadratum. Or maybe he'll be, you know, the darkness to the light that Strelitzin will try to present to Sora in Quadratum. Who knows how that's going to turn out? Maybe they'll be uneasy allies, and, you know, maybe Sora will probably barely trust him because Sora himself will know about everything they went through, unless Sora has lost his memories. I doubt he has, but, you know, maybe Sora barely trusts him because he knows what happened, and maybe he tells young Xehanort about, hey, here's what you did when you got older, and all of this was terrible, awful stuff. I can't trust you, or, you know, here's what you did. I want to change you. Like, don't go down that path. Who knows how it's going to turn out? But again, very interesting. There's a lot to chew on there. There's so much potential for good, like drama and character development and stuff. And I am so here for it. I am so here for it. Okay, so now let's talk about the gameplay, the combat that we saw in the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. First things first, it looks pretty fast. It looks very fast. To my eye, just the few times I watched the trailer, it looks like it is about as fast as the additions that Remind brought to Kingdom Hearts 3. So if you were liking the speed of combat after Remind, I feel like you are going to be very much on board with how fast combat is looking here in Kingdom Hearts 4. We see a couple other things real quick before we get into the nitty gritty. We see that it looks like Sora, his block automatically has reflect by default now. I think it might just be more of a visual touch, because when he does his block against the dark side near the end of the trailer, the reflect orb doesn't appear around him automatically. It only appears after he gets attacked. So I feel like it is just a visual flourish of sorts, but even still, it is cool to see for Sora's growth as a Keyblade wielder nonetheless. We also get our first look at a brand new Keyblade for Kingdom Hearts 4. And this Keyblade, it's like this weird, it's like a fire, lava, water, ice, like combined weapon of sorts. I really dig the design. I like this design a lot. Question, what world is this Keyblade coming from? Is it coming from a world based on Moana? That is my first thought here. I have seen some people speculate that maybe it's from the movie Elemental. That is also possibly a good poll as well, because we know Elemental, the whole marketing thing behind that, the big draw for that movie was the whole fire and water thing with the fire main character and the water main character. So it is possible it's from Elemental. I have not seen Elemental yet, so I can't speak more towards the likeliness of that, but I feel like it's more of a Moana thing here because of the inclusion and the prominence of lava in this Keyblade. And lava definitely just harkens back to Moana. It definitely seems like more of a Moana thing with the volcano in that movie and everything. I feel like it's a Moana thing, and the water would be, you know, from the ocean, because of course the ocean, very important with Moana. So that's where I think this Keyblade is from. I could be wrong though. There's also what appears to be like this glowing blue orb in the middle of the Keyblade that separates the fire side from the water side. I'm not sure what this is. I tried to figure it out, like take a quick look at it. I'm not too sure. And when you attack with the Keyblade, it generates like flaming and freezing shapes. So I really think this might be from Moana. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. I think this is a Moana Keyblade though, and if this is like a soft confirmation of Moana being in Kingdom Hearts 4, that's dope, because I did love Moana. Really great movie there. Moving beyond that, we also got confirmation that reaction commands, well, not confirmation, but rather we're getting to see the reaction commands in action, like properly in action in Kingdom Hearts 4. It was already confirmed that they were going to be returning in this game. We just hadn't seen them yet. We're seeing them in action here. I'll talk about them more as I break down what we're seeing with the combat, but it's cool that they are here. Also, another easy to miss thing that's happening in these combat sections is that there are civilians present in the background during these battle scenes. And while they aren't doing anything other than like standing and looking around and stuff, and in one shot in particular, one of the NPCs looks like they're kind of moving at a lower frame rate than the rest of the game, even still, they are there. Which is cool. It adds life to the world. It makes it feel a bit more lived in, and it makes me wonder if, you know, if battles with Heartless or just enemies in general will appear maybe a bit more at random while you're in Quadratum, while you're exploring. Because if so, like imagine you're walking, you're going down the street, and you know traffic is going normally and stuff, and instead of there being, you know, set spawn points, set spawn locations for enemies, they could spawn at a random point in the street. So you're walking, and then like enemies appear, and then traffic just comes to a standstill, and then civilians is like scattered to the side, and then you have to, like, you know, you have to take them out and everything, and after you finish beating the enemies, then traffic goes back to how it was, and the civilians keep on going about their day. That would be cool. And also, again, further emphasize how much of a disruption the darkness is to the people here in this world who never had to deal with this stuff before us wielders of light and darkness entered the world of Quadratum. That would be cool, and it would add weight to that whole idea of fixing, you know, righting our wrongs, fixing our mistake, that we're not supposed to be here, we are destroying their lives, we need to get out of here, we don't belong here. That would be cool. Also, one more thing really quickly, the giant dark side fight, it is very apparent that that happens very early on in the game, as one would expect with dark side fights, but definitely early on, because as we can see in the command menu during this fight, the build option at the bottom is not present in the command menu here. It's present in all the other scenes, but not in this one, so it's very clear this is an early game fight. Likely very first hour of the game fight, maybe first 15-20 minutes of the game fight. You know, it's definitely happening very shortly after we first get control of Sora, so that is cool to know for confirmation right there. Now let's really dive into the combat that we're seeing here, specifically as it pertains to this build mechanic, because what we're seeing here, we see two short scenes of combat encounters, one that takes place during the day, one that takes place at night. And I do want to emphasize as well that if you go to the trailer on the Square Enix page, the Kingdom Hearts page, the PlayStation page, the Nintendo page, like the dedicated video for just the trailer, it has the combat without the HUD at all. But if you go directly to the Nintendo Direct stream itself, that video itself of the entire Nintendo Direct, that version of the trailer has the HUD present. So we're going to mostly focus on that version of the trailer here, because that's where we'll be able to parse out a lot of what's happening here. So again, the big thing with Kingdom Hearts 4, the most mysterious thing so far with combat, has been the build mechanic. What is this build mechanic? We've been wondering for a while, and maybe it'll be something similar to what we see Yozora doing in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, when you fight him, where he turns his Keyblade into a bunch of weird different, well, not his Keyblade, but his weapon into different things. Who knows? We didn't know. Now we have a better idea, but even still, it's not 100% clear what it is, but we do have a better idea. So everything I'm saying here, this is me speculating and just connecting dots based on what I see here and how I interpret it. So this build mechanic is seemingly a way to perform stronger special attacks that are unique to each Keyblade. So when you're watching the combat here, when you're watching the fights, we'll start with this daytime sequence here, where Sora, he has this brand new Keyblade, and he does this attack where he has like these molten strikes attack, essentially. These molten strikes come out of the ground when he does these attacks, and then he does another strong one that has like a bigger like molten rock appear. Then he flips up into the air, rises Keyblade up into the air, and slams this enemy down in a fiery explosion that damages the ground. We'll look at that first, right? So that's like all right there seems to be build moves that he is doing. So above the command bar, we see this bar there that like appears like it will either increase or decrease, but in this trailer we only ever see it decrease based on the attacks that are performed. And next to this bar is a button icon, and it says ZL in the trailer, which would equate to L2 on the PS5 controller. For the purposes of simplicity in this conversation, I'm just going to say L2 because I typically play on PlayStation when I play Kingdom Hearts. Now, I'm guessing that that button holding L2 is going to operate as a shortcut for your build moves. Perhaps you'll be able to have multiple different build moves you can choose from the main build menu, but you can only shortcut 2, similar to how you have all your different spells and everything and your items and stuff in their different menus, but you can have a dedicated shortcut menu, and then you can choose 4 spells or 4 items or whatever the case may be. I feel like this L2 button here is going to be your shortcut for builds, and you could choose 2 specific builds from that specific Keyblade, from that list of build moves that Keyblade has on offer for it. And the attacks in this build menu, they appear to have their own combo strings and reaction commands as well. And we very clearly see that in this trailer. So we'll start again with the Fire Water Keyblade. So we see one attack is called Flowing Edge, the other attack is called Lava Slash. And when Sora does Lava Slash, he does it once, and when he does it, it causes this reaction command called Volcanon to appear. Then he does it again, and the Lava Slash attack changes after he does it the second time to Igneous Impact. And after he clearly does this move, he clearly does Igneous Impact next, because after he does it, a large molten rock appears, and the command changes back to Lava Slash. And after each attack, the build bar goes down just a little bit, and it goes down 3 times. It goes down once after the first Lava Slash, a second time after the second Lava Slash, and then a third time after Igneous Impact. And then after that reaction command begins to appear, another reaction command begins to appear after he does the Igneous Impact. We don't get to see what it says because Sora presumably performs it right away. And this is when he rides the Keyblade up into the air, brings a Heartless up there with him, and then slams them down into the ground. I'm assuming that this must be the, whatever the reaction command is that stems from Igneous Impact, and not like a base Sora finisher, because the impact from this move, again, it creates this ring of flames and damages the ground in such a way that I doubt a base Sora combo would ever do. We've never seen such a thing from any of Sora's base combos. They typically only do like light effects and stuff, never anything elemental like this. So that says to me that this is the reaction command. Is this the Volcanon reaction command? Possibly. Again, we don't know though, because the name doesn't appear on screen before he does it. It just appears really, really fast. Also, when on the screen, next to that build bar, we occasionally see the words "new build" appear next to that bar. I was watching the trailer over and over, and I couldn't figure it out like what that meant. But again, just my interpretation of it. It seems to appear whenever a build command changes from the 2 that you have on offer. So when, first Sora had the Lava Slash and Lava Slash, but when it changed to Igneous Impact, new build appeared, and then after he did it and it changed back to Lava Slash, new build appeared again. So maybe whenever a build changes on that menu, that's when it says new build, that way you know. Perhaps that's what it's for, which then begs the question of, when it changed from Lava Slash to Igneous Impact, would Igneous Impact remain an option to use if Sora didn't do it right away, or would it revert back to Lava Slash after a short period of time? It's a bit unknown. We gotta wait and find out. When we look at the nighttime combat scene, in this sequence, Sora is fighting with the Kingdom Key only. He's not using the brand new Keyblade we see. And we see the 2 build options here. We see Chain Raid and Star Ring. Now, I presume that he's only using Chain Raid in this sequence here. I don't think we see Star Ring at all. The reason being is because of what Chain Raid does. And also, it looks like this move, Chain Raid, is the exact attack that we saw Sora doing in those damage control screenshots that we got last year. because this move, what it does is it sends out this gold chain from his Keyblade that can either go like in an upwards spiral or directly ahead of Sora. And in the footage that was in the Nintendo Direct, Sora, he had 2 chains go up, so he did it twice. And the chains, they went in an upward spiral, sending the enemies airborne, and then Sora was able to then ride the chain. But unlike in Kingdom Hearts 3, where if you did Blizzard, you automatically like rode on the Blizzard trail, here riding on the chain was an option. So you had to press ZR or R2 on PlayStation to ride the chain. So it's cool that at least gives you the option if you don't want to automatically do it. The non-direct version, so if you watch the version of the trailer that's on other pages, it showcased the same moves, but the footage for all the combat stuff was ever so slightly different. And during this nighttime fight, after doing the reaction command, Sora, he does chain rain again, but when he does it on an airborne enemy, he aims it right, and like it aims directly at them. It's just a straight shot to them, like it kind of like grapples onto them. Whereas in the Nintendo Direct footage, when Sora does the after he fights hits the last enemy in the air, when he does chain raid again, because there was no enemy in the air, the chain raid goes forward and then arcs down to the ground and bounces off of it. So I guess that shows, you know, there will be some variability in terms of how it will work. Now, I did mention a reaction command here in regards to these Kingdom Key build moves, and the reaction command was called Heart Barrage. And this, we see Sora swing the chain around from his Keyblade and then send like a barrage of gold hearts from the chain at an enemy. It's a cool move. And then also, again, going back to real quick, when he uses chain raid, it slides up the chain that he makes with the build move. When he does that, those chains that he then slid up on, they then home in on a nearby enemy, which is cool. And again, just goes to show that is what we saw Sora doing in those screenshots last year. And then after this, we then see Sora do this move where he opens this gold structure of sorts, which I've seen some online say bears a resemblance to the Wayfinders that were used for summons in Kingdom Hearts 3, which is cool. It's a nice pull. I see the resemblance as well. But when he opens this up, it releases like a bunch of gold hearts and chains that he then rides around Vanitas style on, like Vanitas was in Burst by Sleep and everything, and he uses it to attack various enemies in the air, in the space. To me, this seems like a shot lock move, and like the way the trailer is cut and edited, if you're not paying attention because it happens so fast, it would lead you to think that, oh, this might be the other build move for the Kingdom Key or reaction command. But if you like go frame by frame, you can tell it's not a reaction command and it's not a build move, because the build screen isn't, the build shortcut menu is not open when he does this. It's not open right before he does it. So I think this is more like a shot lock that he's doing here, which would possibly confirm that shot locks are back in Kingdom Hearts 4. We see the focus meter in this trailer all throughout it. And the focus meter, it's interesting because there are some moments where Sora is doing an attack and the focus meter is increasing some, but then there are other moments where he's attacking and it's not increasing. And there doesn't seem to be like a rhyme or reason behind it. So for example, in some of those sequences where he's doing the build attacks during the daytime and the nighttime fights, when he's doing the build attacks, you can see that the focus meter increases ever so slightly some, but then he continues to do another build attack or two and it doesn't increase anymore. So I was thinking at first, oh, maybe build attacks is how you build the focus bar, but that doesn't seem to be it, or maybe not entirely. And then at the end of the trailer, when we see him fighting the dark side in the building, he's base Sora doing attacks on it, and it also increases the focus bar a bit, but not a whole lot. So it does beg the question of, how are we increasing the focus bar here in this game in Kingdom Hearts 4, and what is the focus bar going to be used for, in addition to shot locks, if shot locks are in fact back? We have to wait and see. So my take on build so far is that it seems like they are, I guess one way we could think of them is as combo enhancers or amplifiers, because it looks like, you can seamlessly switch between build attacks and build combos, and Sora's base attacks and base combos, like mid attack and all, like mid fight. And I feel like it's a bit of an improvement over drive forms. Well, I would say seemingly so far, definitely an improvement over drive forms, and maybe a bit of an improvement over Keyblade transformations, since you aren't locked into a specific set style of combat while you're using them, and you could go between your build attacks and your regular attacks with ease. You know, like Kingdom Hearts 3, you were able to switch between your Keyblade transformations mid-combo, but even still, there was a bit of a pause between it. Like, you couldn't be in the middle of an attack and then switch to another Keyblade form or base Sora. You couldn't do that. There was still a bit of a pause, whereas this, it seems like they're trying to make it more seamless with less of a pause between your changes and all. That's why I'm thinking that L2, holding L2, is what will bring up the shortcut menu for your build attacks, allowing you to just use those real quickly mid-combo. So you could say, you know, say we're deep into the game and Sora, you have like 5 combo pluses on, 5 air combo pluses equipped to you, whatever the case may be. And, you know, you're like 3 hits deep into it, but then you want to use one of your build attacks, then go back to your base Sora combo, and then you want to bring in another build attack, then you could do that as well. And if Keyblade switching is back in this game too, that just super opens the floodgates in terms of combo potential. If you're able to switch between this build combo, this build attack here, and this build attack there, and this build finisher over here, and the reaction command for this, for another move over here, for another Keyblade over there, and its build moves, and then go back to base Sora, do base Sora, like the combo potential, the combat potential is seemingly very limitless here, and I am over the moon at the idea of just what we're going to be doing here with it. But again, we still know so little about build and what exactly it is and how it works and what we'll be doing with it. This is all pure speculation based on what, seemingly 20 seconds, 25 seconds of a 90-second trailer here. So not much really to go off of, but I'm very eager to see and learn more about this build mechanic and how it works and what other combat mechanics we will have at our disposal in Kingdom Hearts 4. Who knows how long we'll have to wait though to find out. I did not think we'd be seeing Kingdom Hearts 4 in June 2026 at a Nintendo Direct, but we did. So at this point, the floodgates are open as to when we could see it again next. Like I said earlier, I believe that we will be seeing this game release anywhere in the next 2 years. Between 2027 and 2028, I think Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be released. I would hope to God it's 2027, but whatever happens, happens. I'm patient. I will wait. Take Square Enix, take your time, cook up something special for us. Tetsuya Nomura, you got it, boy. You got it. But with that said, if the game is on the horizon like that, and Square Enix and Disney are going to start slowly doing more marketing for it, there is an actual realistic possibility it could appear at D23 this year, or Tokyo Game Show. And if not Tokyo Game Show, it could appear at the Game Awards at the end of the year. Like, now is when I would say, okay, we can speculate that every gaming event now, is Kingdom Hearts 4 going to appear here? Because the floodgates are open now, where the doors are clearly like, hey, we're open the door a little bit to start talking and showing more about it. Or maybe this is just our last look at it until the 25th anniversary next year. Either way, something is better than nothing. I'm so happy we got to see what we did. I loved what we saw. It made me have to stop the whole world when I saw it. Totally took me by surprise. But Kingdom Hearts 4 is looking amazing. I love it. Let me know what you all thought of the trailer down in the comment section below. I know this was a lengthy video, much lengthier than normal, but I'm sorry, Kingdom Hearts 4, we make exceptions for Kingdom Hearts 4 because there's a lot to talk about. So thank you all so very much for watching and sticking through this if you did for this entire video. Again, let me know your thoughts on the trailer down below. Let me know your thoughts on what I think, my speculation, my analysis of this trailer, what we saw here. Let me know if you agree with any of my theories, disagree. Share all your thoughts and excitement down in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Hit the notification bell, that way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot, and we'll talk next time. Have a good one.